Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversations are pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Did you bring your thinking caps? Because it's time to put them on. Because the conversation starts now. Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. This is the place where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. And today, our guest is Lorraine Ellen Scott. Brains, we're going to talk about something that people have a perception is one thing, but in actuality, it's something else. Now, let me refer to my notes because I want to try to get it right. Lorraine is a Reiki Master. I wanted to explain this energy work. I've had it done and it is amazing. The best massage you'll ever have with your clothes on. But she also is a transformational mindset mentor. I want to ask her, what gives you the authority, power, wisdom to transform another individual? She's empathic, but she's also introverted. Now, a lot of times when people use the word introvert, you've got this whole idea of what this person may be. They're shy. They have low self-esteem. They don't like people. They're not smart. They have a mental illness. They are, XYZ. But that's not true. They mind their business and they're quiet. But those are the ones you got to watch, Brains, because there's something brewing in the background. You best believe it. So Lorraine is going to explain all that and more. Let's welcome her to the show. How are you today, Princess?
Hi, April. I'm great. Thank you for having me here.
I love it. I love it. I love your background and all your colors and the elephant. The elephant is my spirit animal. A Native American woman gave me that years ago. And I tell you, it has worked for me like magic. I really feel
Wonderful.
the power of an energy and the energy.
Uh-huh.
So tell me a little bit about you and how you show up in the world.
Well, like you introduced me, I'm a Reiki Master Teacher, and I originally got into that to help me heal the loss of my mom. And it's just opened up so many doors for me now.
Hmm.
I loved it so much, I had to start teaching it, or as I like to say, sharing it, because we come from this, head to head instead of someone above someone else teaching. And from there, things just kind of expanded into, more of a business practice. And I realized I was very introverted, and there's some aspects of business that I didn't enjoy doing because I had to stand out. So I had to learn a lot of my own inner work and do my own transformation all around being married to what I label as a rageaholic. Wasn't always at me, but it was everything going on around. There's a lot of energy when you're dealing with someone who has a lot of negativity and ups and downs and all arounds. So I really went through trial by fire,
Wow.
through a lot of things. And I tell you, I'm separated now. And since I've just really expanded who I am, and I really want to help other people get through that stigmatism of, being stuck in a place where they feel they have no power.
Right. Well, there's a yin and the yang. Absolutely. And I'm not introverted. I'm extroverted. But I live an introverted lifestyle. I can tell you who's going to come to my house and knock on my door. My home is my sanctuary. Me and Mr. Magnificent. I don't deal with a lot of people, here. I'll go out in town and I'm, out there. And it's strange now because the show has gained so much popularity around the world. We were at an event and someone came and said, "Oh my God, there's April Mahoney, a brain." And her eyes got all big and I got nervous. I was like, so I can only imagine what the Kim Kardashians or Dave Chappelle's or your Mike Tyson's of the world feel when people are just really at you. And,
Yeah.
you always have to be on. But an introvert, kind of sits back and observes. Now, people say that they're shy. Give me the definition of an introvert.
Well, introverts, a lot like extroverts, it's not really a personality trait. It's how we manage our energy. A lot of introverts are seen as being shy or even quiet. And yet the people I meet, they say, Lorraine, I did not know you were introverted, because I have tendencies to be out there and loud and boisterous and, you know, being the first one to speak. But I still define myself as introverted because I need that time to replenish my energy. And if I don't get it, I crash even worse, and I lose momentum in everything that I'm doing because I hide. It's like, where did Lorraine go? She's been gone for like a month. What happened to her? So it's
Okay,
really how you manage energy.
okay, but let me ask this too, because a lot of times people think that introverted individuals are depressed.
Yeah. Well, I
There's
mean,
a depression element to that.
anybody can be depressed. It
That's
doesn't
right.
matter, but when you're introverted, we think a lot internally. We do a lot of inner work
Mm-hmm.
or inner, stress by just
And
trying to.
strategy.
Yes,
That's why you got.
exactly.
That's why you got to watch them brains, because they're thinking. They are thinking while we're sitting here jaw jacking and being the life of the party and letting everybody know everything. They're strategizing. They're
Yeah.
thinking.
or or they're freaking out inside going, oh, I'm going to be pointed on next to talk, and then they're all in their head and they get themselves all worked up and they've wasted all that energy in doing that. No wonder they fall flat.
Mm. Okay, so what gives you the pixie dust? What gives you the power to extract that out of another individual and help them thrive?
Well, that's a really great question. I feel I just approach it from the center of authenticity and seeing who they are. I'm intuitive and empathic, and I come from a place of emotion and really being able to feel, even without somebody speaking. I can feel the deep set emotion that they're having, and just by seeing them as they are without needing to change them,
Mm-hmm.
I feel that's my invitation in
Okay,
to help.
so you have, you're able to help them filter,
Yeah,
and look through things through a different lens.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's great. But everybody's got a story, and they are not necessarily in synchronicity with your story or going at the same pace, different, you know, ethnicities, ages, um, upbringings, financial status. But what is at the core of this learning that you offer and this mindset? Because mindset is a big $25 word.
It is a huge word.
And
And
so, and people think that, okay, well, I'm going to set my mind on changing my mindset on my money, or I'm going to change it on my relationship. But it is like a dial on an old fashioned radio. You've got to find the right frequency.
absolutely.
How do you
Yes.
how do you get people tuned in, Lorraine?
Well, and it really, story is one thing, but it's all about stepping into your body. And yeah, physical body, but our also our vibrational body,
Mm-hmm.
our chakras. That's the energy signature that and the vibration that's running the show, really. And
Right.
when things are blocked or too wide open, and don't have the proper balance, that's going to wreak havoc on our physical body. It's going to wreak havoc on how we interact with other people. So I don't really need to know somebody's story or their experiences or things like that, because it boils down to they know who they are. And when we can deep dive into those energy centers, that's where we can start pulling things away and clearing and balancing them. Because it's when we get out of the story and into the action, that's where the transformation happens.
Absolutely. So you move that energy through Reiki. Tell my brains, what is Reiki?
Well, Reiki it's a subtle energy. It's based in a Japanese a healing technique that basically for um, the practitioner, we are a channel for energy to flow through us. So we have to be clear enough in order for the energy to flow through to the other person. And it works on the subtle energy fields, and it can clear and balance and re-energize every part of the body, mind, and spirit. It's very kind of esoteric, yet at the same time, like you say, it's like a massage without actually having been touched. So
Well, when the first
clears
time
and
I got
balances.
it done, I was like, this is some hocus pocus alamocus. This guy is not gonna do nothing for me. Honey, I laid on that table and it was like an anesthesiologist. He took me down and I was so relaxed in his presence. And I could actually feel the energy rising into his hands. And then when he was finished, I was absolutely exhausted. I had to sit there and drink a lot of water. I felt like I had just had a Thai massage. But it was strange because he had a very deep conversation with me afterwards. He goes, when you find a Reiki practitioner, you want to be very selective. You want to have some sort of connectivity with them. You want to have a conversation with them. He says, because there's also energy thieves that are, and you have to be careful. When you open yourself up, you're now an open vessel. And you could pour Kool-Aid or you could pour vodka. It just depends what is going to enter into that space. So my question to you, number one, is what would you recommend people do when they're looking for a Reiki practitioner to work with? And number two, how do you cleanse yourself from person to person, situation to situation, so that you are a clear conduit for this transfer of energy?
That's good. And then you're speaking from a practitioner's point of view with
Correct.
that question. Okay.
Correct.
So let me talk about the first one. We are all intuitive. Even if we don't think we are, we are. Often it's in a very matter of fact way. We know whether we connect with someone or not. We have that niggle that says, oh no, I'm not going to enjoy this, or I don't like something about this person, even though, they might be perfectly fine. We don't always gel with anybody. So you have to trust your intuition as far as who you're looking for a practitioner. And as far as me clearing my energy, um, I use Reiki on myself every morning. I meditate. I constantly, without really being mentally aware of it, I'm clearing my energy all the time. You don't wait to till you're full of crud to clear it. So it's a constant clearing of energy. I think I always have this little bubble around me. That's what I like to think of it as, like a bubble of energy. It, as an empath, it kind of shields me a little bit from other people. I like to not think of it as protection, because to me it's always thinking that, oh, you're on alert, you have to be protected. To me, it's more like insulation, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't go around walking around with bare, wires. They're insulated. It
Right.
protects, it helps to hone that energy where it needs to go. And it helps you not be totally drained after a full day of either, working with clients or being around other people. You're able to just slow that energy off as you go. But consistency is the key. You really have to do daily self-care in order to
Right.
do it.
But now let me ask you a question because I'm in a little bit of a quandary. I'm not finding a contradiction, but you can clear this up for me. You say that you have this insulation around you, but you're empathic and you speak very openly about being empathic. And being an empath, again, is being that open vessel. I mean, you are taking in energy from Lady Sue down the street that's crying because the biscuits burned. You're taking on anything you see, and you're like a magnet. It draws to you. So how do you turn that off? Now I understand how you clear yourself, but how do you say, you know what? Because when you're doing work, energy work, you have to ask for permission to enter that space. And that
Absolutely.
person has to allow that.
Hmm.
Because I know, like, when I go into some meditations, big room meditations, I put a block up. I don't want everybody in my space. I want to be able to, you know what? I'm not feeling this. I don't like what he's saying. I don't like the sound of the gongs. I do that. How do you pump the brakes? How do you say, you know what, universe, I really don't want to deal with this right now. This is not me. This is not my issue. This is not something I want to take on. But when you're empathic, it comes right at you like a speeding bullet.
And it can if you don't prepare. And everybody has, negative things that happen in their lives. And I like to think of the stuff that I dealt with my ex and his energy, that I really had the opportunity to learn how to dial down on how sensitive I am. So I'll have that sensitivity, the antennas out. I have that dialed way down most of the time,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
being out in public, having to deal with other people. And it isn't until I'm working with someone that I have that intention that I want to be at that open channel, I'll turn that dial straight up and I'm focused. So often I have that turned right down. So I'm not feeling all the feels from everybody. That
Right.
would exhaust the crap out of me to have to do that.
But see,
So
you're very fortunate that you have the ability and the wisdom and the skill set and the tools to be able to do that. Everybody can't turn it off.
but they can. That's the problem. That's where the mindset comes in. People convince themselves that, oh, I'm an empath and I feel everything. It's like,
Right.
it's a story you're telling yourself. You
And
can
you know what
be
they say
so
most of the
powerful.
time too? They say it in a downtrodden type of way. I'm an empath. But you can feel great energy and people spark and
That's
their
exactly right.
their reinvention and their excitement. You feel that as well too. So it's not just their pain or their sorrow or their anxiety. You also can feel the joy. And what
Yep,
you might want to consider, if working with someone like Lorraine, that helps you tune into that frequency, that you pick up
absolutely.
those kind of energies, because all that's going to do is recharge your battery brain, correct?
Well, I mean, that's exactly it. It's what you focus on expands. So when people come to me and they need healing, it's like I start turning it around and focusing on, let's look at all the good in your garden. Like, sure, we need to clear the weeds, but we don't want to stay in the weeds and the gunk. We want to, like, where's the inspiration? Where does that all come from? That's the focus. And you're bang on with that, April, when you say that empaths think that, well, I feel all those feelings. Well, there are good feelings too, and
A
it's what
lot.
you filter through. And we all have the inner power to and the choice to choose what we prefer to focus on.
Now, another thing you say that you work with is crystals.
Oh yeah.
Wah wah,
Oh,
wah wah.
look at you go.
I got some more.
Heart shapes.
Wah wah. Because I'm a heart
Beautiful.
center kind of chick.
You are. What drew me to you.
Thank you. But okay, but check these out, brains. At first, this is another thing, okay? Because when he did the Reiki session, he warmed these up and he placed them in certain places, and I felt the charge.
Awesome.
Okay, so people are saying these are precious jewels and stones that come from the core of the earth, that have been compressed, sometimes some of them over thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
And they do have an energy, they do have a story, they do have a way of helping you manifest and heal. They are a part, they've been here longer than you've been here. Tell me about, and is that moonstone that you're wearing around your neck?
It is, yes.
See, I'm into it now, Brains. I'm telling you,
You
you should
are.
see
You're
me.
hooked.
I'm hooked. And you get in there and you say, wow, these are pretty, but they are more than pretty. Why did you start working with crystals, and who turned you onto them?
Boy, I've been into crystals since I was a young girl. The first one that drew me was Tiger's Eye with all
Mm-hmm.
that shine and sheen, and I was just super drawn to it. And crystals and energy work just go hand in hand. It's vibrational energy. So I learned crystal healing probably before I did Reiki, and afterwards it was a no-brainer for me to include it in.
Well, you know what? Now let me ask you something. You say healing. I find I use them when I want to manifest.
Well, that's healing too, isn't it? It's healing your idea that you don't have something, and
Right,
it's
right.
realigning you to you can, and you will if you put your mind to it.
The best way to, and you have to clean them brains, and not with soap and water.
Yeah, some don't like soap and water, especially
Right,
that
you know, or if
selenite
you
one
put
you
them too
have.
much, yeah, if you put too much in the sun, then it bleaches them as well. So moonlight, I lay mine out in the moonlight, and it really, again, it takes out whatever gunk I've been rubbing into it, holding on to. But they're fun. I started collecting rocks as a young girl. I had a
Mhm.
rock collector. Do you remember the pet rock?
I do. Yeah,
I don't remember who invented that, but let me tell you, baby, they made a mint off of a rock in a box.
they did.
And
Yeah,
I had all kind, and I have a rock garden here. Everywhere we go, where we travel around the world, I always take a piece of the earth.
I love that. I love rock, everyday rocks, like rocks on the ground. And yeah, I can't help myself. And that's another way we ground ourselves, believe it or not. We and like you, when you travel around the world, you bring a piece of it.
I
That to
do,
me
I
is a
do.
better souvenir than anything you can
It
find in a
is,
store.
and I've got them all labeled and stuff. And we went to Yosemite, and my husband goes, "Oh, this is a pretty one." Now I got him doing it too. But
Awesome.
it makes a statement. So I want you to make a statement. I want you to make a statement to the person that is empathic, but also introverted, that's afraid, that has been bullied, that has been, whipped by somebody else's tongue. What do you say to that person right now for them to get up and get going?
Well, I say it sucks the experiences you've had to go through, but if you keep focusing on that, you're not going to get past it. You have to focus on where you want to be and start climbing up out of that hole. Find someone who's there to support you and gently guide you each step of the way. And it's not a one step forward, five steps back, but sometimes there is a little bit of a curvy road.
Right.
It can be a little treacherous at times, but you have to have that trust and faith that you were put on this earth for a reason. The things you've had to go through are part of aligning you to where you need to be.
And that's about it, brains. It's just alignment.
Absolutely.
It's like your car tires. You got to get a wheel alignment so that you head on a straight path, straight and narrow. And as Lorraine said, there is going to be some curves. Sometimes you're going to have to back it up,
Mm.
but that's okay. You back it up, you put it in park, you sit there, you think about it, you edit and filter, you get some Reiki to help you, stimulate or relax, but also to get clear.
Yeah.
Just like Lorraine did. The situation wasn't working for her.
No.
And it was all about her at that point. And that's what you have to think about. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's all about me, and it's okay. It's not selfish, it's not conceited, any of that. It's important. You cannot forge forward until you understand who you are, what your desires are. People say, "Oh, I want to manifest a new car." No, the universe wants to know specific. Okay, what type of car? What kind of accoutrements do you want in the inside? What are you going to be listening to when you're driving down the highway in it? You
Well,
have to be
that's the
specific.
thing, future pacing. And
Absolutely.
it's not just about that thing or that item. It's about how are you feeling when you have it?
Right.
Because we live in the feels.
Mm.
As much as we want to think about it's that thing outside of ourselves, bottom line, we all want to be happy. We all want to be accepted for who we are. And in order to do that, we have to make some choices and decisions. And it's like anything, we can't plan something down to the detail. It's like going on a trip and you have to take a detour and you're kind of pissed off because you had to take this detour and you're sitting there and all of a sudden you see this beautiful view you would have missed if you would have kept on going along that GPS road that you originally decided to go on. You have to allow for that serendipity to come into play there's magic in allowing the universe to guide you instead of you trying to take hold of the wheel.
Exactly, because it is what it is. And I'm telling you, the destiny is already planned out. We're just here trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
We are the character actors in our own play.
Yeah.
But you have an opportunity to rewrite your script, to
Mhm.
rewrite your lines, to rewrite the scene. Okay? And I take advantage of it. I'd work with Lorraine. Okay? I
Awesome.
really would.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
Precious, please tell us how to get in contact with you, how to get into this fear, and how to come out of, and like I said, even being an empath, not empath, being introverted, there's nothing wrong with it. Sometimes it's a little sexy because you're trying to figure out who that person is. What is that mystique? What are they thinking? How do you work with those people? So again, how do we get in contact with you?
Well, my website is the easiest way right now. It's simplehealingarts.com. And I've been working a lot with introverted entrepreneurs, but I still do individual healing as well and mindset coaching, like whatever is needed. And yeah, it's totally okay to be introverted. I'm a believer that we can take our comfort zone with us. We just have to learn to expand it a little bit. There are little things we can do, such as having some rocks with us, so many different ways to stay in that light-minded, heart-centered path that you're meant to be on.
And don't let people bully you and punk you because you're introverted.
No.
Don't let
Stand in your truth.
Stand in your truth and stand up for who you are. I need you to come out blazing when you do come out.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Lorraine. Brains, please handle your business, okay? And go in, love, like, and share. What I say? Love, like, and share. One more time, Lorraine. Let's say it. Love, like, and
share.
Because caring is sharing.
Thank you, April. It's so much fun.
I know. I enjoy you so much. I love you. And the girl and the hair is off the chain.
Thank you.
All right, brains. Take it easy. With
Bye.
your